Hello, we're reaching you live from our news studios in Lagos. Coming up, National Association of Nigerian Students suspends June 12 nationwide protests. President Muhammadu Buhari appoints new Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. Central Bank of Nigeria plans to introduce digital currency before the end of the year. South Africa battles third wave of COVID-19. Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us on News Now. Here are stories making headlines. I'm Michael Nath. Now, the National Association of Nigerian Students has suspended its planned June 12 nationwide protest. NANS President Sunday Asefo made this known in a statement Friday morning. According to the NANS president, the planned protest was aimed at decrying the insecurity in the country, especially the serial abductions of students. However, Asefo said some politicians with different agenda have perfected plans to hijack the protest to ventilate their political opinions and sentiments. He also said the students' body was not associated with the secessionist campaign or the Buhari Must Go campaign slated to hold on Saturday by some politicians and activists. Now, the Rivers State Commissioner of Police Friday, Ebuka, has promised to provide adequate security before, during, and after June 12 in Rivers State and the environs. The command says plans are in place to provide adequate security in Rivers State to prevent the breakdown of law and order ahead of the June 12 National Plan Protest Day. The Commissioner of Police Friday, Ebuka, made this commitment during our stakeholders meeting in Port Harcourt following this.
We will know the genesis of June 12, and today that is not declared a public holiday. But report reaching us indicates that some miscreants intend to create something else out of June 12. June 12 is what we do as Democracy Day, and it will be declared public holiday by government. It will be a day of celebration, so to say. But we are having the feelers that some miscreants are trying to make trouble out of that June 12. We know it is your freedom to hold rallies, but we want it to be well coordinated. And if possible, we can put it off and celebrate in our homes. Democracy doesn't mean you should go and fight. It doesn't mean you should go and attack any person. It means you should stay at home and celebrate the day that we have freedom of speech, freedom to elect our leaders, and so on and so forth.
Youth Council of Rivers State has not planned any program in Rivers State nor a protest, and also call on all youths to go about their meaningful businesses across the state. Before now, we've always raised our concern about the incident that occurred to our police force, especially the other persons who were murdered and all that. We will not also leave this one untouched. And if it's possible, I want you, sir, to set up a committee of inquiry that will be able to look into this matter and justice to be served to that very young man. This is a major point which violence can enter into Rivers State on a day like this.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed BALARABE ILELAH, a veteran broadcaster, as Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the appointment in a statement issued in Abuja on Friday. He said ILELAH's appointment is for 5 years tenure in the first instance. ILELAH replaces erstwhile DG Professor Armstrong amid a Twitter ban issued by the federal government. Management of Obafemi Awolowo University, O.A.U, Ile-Ife, is taking significant steps to reduce economic burden of high electricity tariff and irregular supply to enhance various academic activities. The Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede, disclosed this during a World Press Conference to herald activities marking the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the institution.
But like I told you, we are generating 8.03 megawatts of electricity from our current project, which is going to be gas powered. Once that is on, any excess electricity, we may not, just allow that to waste. It may have to go to members of the community. But the Obafemi Awolowo University has to a large extent been able to fulfill its mandate via her core values of excellence, efficiency, integrity, hard work, and transparency. However, the university will continue to dedicate itself to the promotion of learning and culture through our mission of promoting by research and other means the advancement of knowledge and its practical application to social, cultural, economic, scientific, and technological problems.
The Nigeria Senate has reaffirmed its committed support and to advocate for more support to internally displaced persons living in IDP camps across the country. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, made the remark in a visit with other lawmakers to the Apu IDP camp in Abuja to mark its second anniversary of the 9th Assembly.
I want to thank my distinguished colleagues for finding it appropriate and indeed necessary to take the decision first that we must come here, and then to make the contribution of the 10 million naira worth of items of support for this camp. Surely we would love to have done better than this, but we have our own limitations too, and this is personal. We will pursue the official line to ensure that we get much more support for you and indeed other IDP camps.
The federal government have decried the delay in providing a loan facility to complete the IBADAN-KANO rail line by the Chinese government. It will be recalled that the federal government had asked the National Assembly to approve a $5.3 billion Chinese loan requested to execute the IBADAN-KANO standard gauge rail line. Although the agreement with Chinese lenders generated controversies over clauses conceding Nigeria's sovereignty to China. While speaking at the sideline of the commissioning of the Lagos to Ibadan rail line, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said up till now, the China Exim Bank is yet to approve the loan for Ibadan to Kaduna rail.
We are grateful that the Chinese government, through the China Exim Bank, was able to give us the loan as the concessionary rate to construct the Lagos back from the seaport down to Ibadan. So we hope that we'll get money to be able to construct from Ibadan to Kano so that we can complete the track and make sure that business takes place.
One student has been confirmed killed and another one injured. 10 others, including 2 lecturers, kidnapped when bandits attacked Kaduna state-owned Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in Zaria. Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, who confirmed this on Friday morning, said the incident occurred on Thursday night. According to the briefing, the bandits invaded the staff quarters of the campus, shooting sporadically. In the process, 2 students were hit and sustained gunshot injuries. They were identified as Ahmed Mohammed and Haruna Isiaku Dunia. They were rushed to the hospital for medical attention. Sadly, Ahmed Mohammed succumbed to his wounds and died early this morning. Haruna Isiaku Dunia is still receiving treatment. The O.A.U State Police Command has debunked rumors that villages in Ebeda Local Council District of the state, as well as parts of Ido Local Government Area, have been surrounded by fully armed Fulani bandits. The State Commissioner of Police, Ngozi Onadeko, dispelled the rumor, which is termed fake, shortly after her team arrived from a show of force operation across the nooks and crannies of your state.
So we have to go around the town to make them feel safe and for them to know that the police is there. Because we've been having a whole lot of, everybody's like in a panic mode. There's been a whole lot of distress calls. One person or the other is moving about with, they're feeling threatened. So we have to move around the town to tell them that everything is okay. Talk to your wards, talk to your children, that they should shun crime and criminality, especially now that we're having this Egungun festival. Let them not use it as a way to perpetrate their violence. We are there everywhere. We will not allow them. And with the June 12th issue, everybody go about your lawful business, just like I've been saying. The police and other sister agencies were working harmoniously together.
Area Ambassador of PUAN in ADO-ODO Ota local government, Ambassador Solanke Israel, says electorate should become the ultimate decider of all election results in the country. He made this known during an inauguration of polling unit ambassadors of Nigeria PUAN ADO-ODO Ota chapter held in Ota, and was witnessed by Independent National Electoral Commission INEC representatives, security agencies representatives, community leaders, civil societies, and youth camps.
Whatever you capture, transfer it to the states, from local to the state, from state to the national. The amalgamation of civil societies in Ogun State and of course ADO-ODO, the man who has been instrumental to setting up of different civil society groups on very, very strong thematic areas in this local government.
That is why we have the pre, during the election, and the after election is to checkmate there.
The election has been conducted, and we all use our PVC, and we voted someone into the post, and they didn't give the person the vote. What is going to happen?
PUAN wants to ensure that the electorate recognize that power lies in the bosom, in their bosoms, to elect and retire non-performing elected office holders.
The U.S. has called on the Nigerian government to respect the rights of its citizens to freely express themselves by reversing its suspension of traitors' operations in the West African country. In a statement issued on Thursday evening by the spokesperson of the Department of State, Ned Price, the U.S. explained that freedoms of expression and access to information are both essential ingredients in any democratic setting. The statement states, unduly restriction the ability of Nigerians to report, gather, and disseminate opinions and information has no place in a democracy. Freedom of expression and access to information, both online and offline, are fundamental to prosperous and secure democratic societies. This was read in a statement posted on the Department of State's website. Nigeria's Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, had in a swift reaction ordered the prosecution of people using the social media platform in the country. But the U.S. government has thwarted the move, as well as the National Broadcasting Commission's order to broadcast houses in Nigeria. Environmental pollution has been one of the major challenges facing the Niger Delta region over the years, such as oil spills and gas flaring. These constitute major sources of environmental damage and habitat loss, affecting local population who are dependent on agriculture and fishing for livelihoods. In the light of this, some women in ABDUCTION in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, in conjunction with gender-based non-governmental organization GABEKECHE Women Development Resource Center, stressed the need for a role of women in environmental protection. Speaking at a media dialogue in Ebema, a community in ABDUCTION local government area of the state, Eman Okon said there is the need to give support to women on environmental rights. The group, represented by the program officer Idongeset Smart, said everyone should develop the habit of cleaning the environment, as women do not relate with the environment for monetary gains, but for preservation of life and promotion of health.
We cannot have a clean and better water when those waters are being polluted by oil activities, by bunkers. It is not the best. So as women, we join the women all over the world to say we must stop environmental pollution. It is not healthy. Anything we do come back to us. Because when you destroy the environment, you have destroyed the life.
Know that plants are needed for our survival. One way to do it is to grow trees. That's one secret of the olden days. They grew a lot of trees. They were always outside, fresh air. Because the trees take in carbon dioxide that we breathe out. All right, so it's balancing the whole climate. And that is very needed for survival.
You cannot be doing something that you have your own benefit and other people are suffering. It's not advisable. So the only thing we are appealing to look for a way we can reach those people to stop this bonfire business at the waterfront so that our health at stake as we speak.
You're watching News Now here on iBrandTV Lagos. Africa News Now. South Africa has officially entered its third wave of coronavirus infections, health authorities said, with rising caseloads and a sluggish vaccine rollout fueling fears of fresh strain on the health system. South Africa technically entered the third wave today as the national 7-day moving average incidence 5,959 cases now exceeds the new wave threshold as defined by the Ministerial Advisory Committee, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, tweeted on Thursday. The Health Ministry later announced that it had detected over 9,100 cases in 24 hours, approaching the level seen at the peak of South Africa's second wave in December. Chilly winter weather is also fueling concerns of research in Africa's worst hit country. Foreign news now. A Pakistan province said Friday it would block the mobile phones of people refusing to get COVID-19 jabs in the latest move to penalize the unvaccinated in country, where only a fraction of the population have been inoculated. It comes after Sindh province said civil servants who refuse to be vaccinated will not be paid from July. A third wave of infections has begun to stabilize in Pakistan after weeks of tough restrictions, and in Punjab, the country's most populous province, which includes the mega city of Lahore, demand for jabs has slowed. Almost 10.5 million doses have been administered, with China supplying most of the vaccines. But concerns about the side effects of the jab, coupled with misinformation that it causes infertility or death within 2 years, have sparked vaccine hesitancy. Now, G7 leaders will agree to expand global COVID vaccine manufacturing to provide at least 1 billion doses to the world through sharing and financing schemes, Britain said on Thursday. The UK, which is hosting the big powers gathering in southwest England, added it would donate at least 100 million surplus of doses within the next year, including 5 million beginning in the coming weeks. The commitment follows growing calls for the richer countries to step up their efforts to share COVID-19 shots with less developed nations, with charities warning the current situation is leading to vaccine appetite. Britain, which has orders for more than 400 million doses, has faced criticism for failing to begin making donations to poorer countries. The Philippines is once again polio-free, the World Health Organization said Friday, after a successful vaccination campaign that has raised hopes for COVID-19 inoculations in a country plagued by mistrusts of jabs. Polio re-emerged in the country in 2019, nearly 2 decades after its last cases were detected, sparking a nationwide effort to immunize millions of children against the crippling disease. At least 17 people were infected, but health authorities said they have not detected the virus in a child or the environment in the past 16 months. We are celebrating freedom from polio, said Rabinder Beyan-Singbe, the WHO representative in the Philippines. Now, more than 80% of unvaccinated children were immunized in the nationwide effort, which Beyan-Singbe said was adequate to interrupt the transmission. Up next is Sport News with Jidechi.
Welcome to the Sports Update. I am Jidechi Chideze. Now, Brazil's Supreme Court has ruled that the country can host the Copa America despite coronavirus pandemic, clearing the way for the troubled football tournament to go ahead in 3 days' time in an extraordinary virtual section. A majority of the High Court's 11 justices decided against plaintiffs who argued that the South American Championships pose an unacceptable health risk. Now, various judges, however, ordered the government to take additional safety measures in hosting the tournament. The 3 cases before the court were the latest and perhaps the last, the edge of the seat moment for organizers who appear determined to pull off this edition of the world's oldest running international football tournament, despite the obstacles. And on the local scene, Nigeria's Super Falcons lost their first game to Jamaica by a lone goal in the Four-Nation tournament in United States. Goal by Denisha Blackwood in the 51st minute of the game, played at the BBVA Stadium in Houston on Thursday night, was enough to hand the new coach Randy Waldrum his first defeat with the African champions. Efforts by Oluwatosin Demiyin, Onyechi Zog, Ruza Ario, and Vivian Ikechukwu, who received their first international cap for the Falcons, were not enough to secure a victory, despite the absence of players like Azizat Oshoala, Onome Ebi, Halimatu Ayinde, Osinachi Ohale, Ngozi Okeo Ogane due to injuries and visa hitches. The Nigerian side will take on Portugal on Sunday before a clash against world champions United States of America on June the 4th. And that's all for now on the Sports Update. Back to you.
Business news now. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, plans to introduce digital currency before the end of the year. Its Director of Information Technology, Rakia Muhammad, said on Thursday. Speaking at the end of 360th Bankers Committee meeting, she said the currency will be accessible to all Nigerians. Admitting the risks associated with the proposed digital currency, the director assured that it will operate alongside other virtual currencies like the cryptocurrency. She, however, cautioned that the CBN lacks control over other virtual or digital currencies, as those transacting with such currencies are doing so strictly on personal basis. The CBN chief said nobody stopped them. CBN is exploring the possibility of issuing digital currency. The crude oil market is picking up as refiners of the commodity are now showing increasing interest in its purchase, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries announced on Thursday. Nigeria is a long-standing member of OPEC, and an uptick in demand for crude would mean more income for the country because the bulk of Nigeria's foreign earnings come from oil sales. This came as the Department of Petroleum Resources also announced on Thursday that Nigeria's natural gas reserves had risen to a new high of 206.53 trillion cubic feet. In its latest monthly oil report for June 2021, cited by our correspondent in Abuja, OPEC said that spot crude prices experienced firm gains in the month of May, rising on average of about 6% month on month. Now, ECOWAS agrees on pact towards single currency union for West Africa. The ECOWAS Parliament has adopted a draft resolution towards a stability pact that will ensure a single currency for the region. This was adopted by the Parliament on Thursday during the first ordinary session in Abuja, a step towards adopting this ECO. Now, the ECOWAS Parliament adopted the pact after submissions by its Joint Committee on Macroeconomic Policy and Economic Research and Committee on Administration, Finance and Budget for the adoption of a draft supplementary act on the pact. The Joint Committee, chaired by Honorable Keba Barrow, said that the pact would be implemented in 2 phases. The first phase would focus on convergence and would run from January 2022 to December 2026, while the second phase will center on stability and commence on January the 1st, 2027. The Minister of Trade, Industry and Investments, Ni Adebayo, on Thursday said the ministry is working to produce an updated trade policy that will reflect the current situation of the world. Adebayo disclosed this in Abuja during a press conference on the Nigerian Arts in 60 celebration. He said the policy would be submitted to the Federal Executive Council for ratification by the end of the year. The minister said, "We have got a trade policy. We are in the process of updating and completing our trade policy." And that's news now here from iBrandTV Lagos. Thanks very much for watching. I am Michael Nath.